Get a minute, don't know. Get a minute of your time. Get a minute of your.
I sure gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my side. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. God of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its sides. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye. And you said when no one's to be found, what keeps you eased out, what takes you off your mind. Guess you want this, I want this, everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands, show yourself, reveal it to
Don't worry, we're not talking about it after.
You're good. Hi, everyone.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't you
Miguel and I are gonna have a heart-to-heart after.
We're not? No, we're not.
He just told me we were, so it's okay. Don't worry, it's good.
So you want to if you ever wondering how you want to get to Maria, just tell her you have to tell her something and then take it back.
And then just walk away.
And then just walk away.
That's loud. Like, what? What do you mean?
You know I actually don't have anything, right?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm being serious.
Sure.
I give you my word.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm giving you my word.
All right. That's fine.
You don't believe me though.
I believe you.
You think that there's something.
Okay, what's up? Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming and jumping online with us today in our podcast From Vision to Success.
Hang on. Okay,
No,
yeah.
just forget. He professional. Come
Yes.
on, let's be professional.
Professional. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, Maria. Go ahead. Do the intro. Yes.
I already did it.
Oh, you did? And listen, we're gonna switch things up here a little bit. So to sponsor our show, to sponsor us, or no, to support us. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, because I was like, I don't know. You didn't talk to me about this. I don't know where this is going.
No.
Okay.
To support the show, just make sure that you go to www.mtclife.com.
Okay, www.mtc.com.
MTC Life.
MTC Live. Okay, you said www.com. MTC.
MTC. Go to our website.
Yes.
mtclife.com and make sure you support us by buying some of our shirts. It supports the show, and we're able to do this for you guys live.
Absolutely.
And so we are on our 27th episode.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So here's what I'm proposing right now.
Okay, tell me.
Episode 30, we give something away.
Okay.
But it's gotta be
I'm
big.
game. Okay, we have to discuss. Let's discuss, and then we'll figure it out, and then we'll break it up.
Like an Xbox. Just something.
Like an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like okay,
A
we have
PlayStation.
We'll discuss.
Movie tickets. Money.
Money.
Hawaii
Just throw
trip.
money. Just throw money at our viewers.
Yeah.
Who wants money?
Yeah.
Oh,
there we go. Look at Mike, eh?
He put.
I know. Mike's the bomb.
Listen, do you see that? The link up there in the comments.
So,
Just make sure you go in there.
Well, what another show I was watching is, you know what they do? Is that for every merch or something that they buy on the shop, every dollar goes towards an entry. So if they buy like $20 worth of like product, so it's 20 entries towards a giveaway at the end of the month or something like that.
That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah.
Like, it likelihood increases your chances like no one's business.
Yeah. We will give away an original.
Like the old school. I think those old school ones are pretty expensive though. They might be more expensive, no?
Yeah. Well, they're like nostalgic now and stuff like that. So
we'll find it. We'll find it somewhere.
So
No,
before
just kidding.
before we continue, I have to tell, there really isn't anything.
Okay.
So I told Maria right before the show started, I'm like, yeah, I got something to tell you. She goes, for real? And I go, yeah, for real. She goes, for real? Is it bad? And I go, it's pretty bad. And she goes, is it private? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, how private? And I'm like, it's pretty private. So now she's like itching to try and get what it is. But there is, I'm telling you right now, there really isn't anything.
I believe you.
No, you don't.
I do.
You have this mom thing like, I believe you. And then like, it's not.
How dare you call me a mom on our show? How dare. I'm always like, do I look like a mom?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to give the mom. Don't get me wrong. I love being a mother.
Yeah.
I
What?
just don't want sometimes to give the mom vibe.
Oh, you get it. You give it all the time.
I don't
though.
give that. I mean, sometimes. Okay, sometimes I have bought things that Mike is like, okay, what are you wearing? I bought these shoes, and he's like, you look like Little House on the Prairie. Like I should be part of that show. I was like, what? But I like it, and it's comfortable.
And that hair thing, man.
Okay, it's not. It's fine. Don't look at it.
This is why I shaved.
Exactly. That's
What-
why you shave.
What was the worst workplace experience that you've ever had? I want to get some juice out of you.
Workplace experience I ever had. Oh my gosh.
Watch this. Maria loves this. Ready? Go talk.
Oh my gosh. Do you hear it? Okay. This comes to my remembrance. I used to work at a restaurant, and when I was maybe 19, I was a hostess, and I wanted to become a bartender so badly, right? And
really?
yeah, and I don't even think I had the skills to begin with, because I'm like, here I am, 19-year-old being entitled to, like, why can I do it? And I was so upset because there was another hostess that we worked together, and she was made into a bartender, and I was like, what the, right? Anyway, so finally I was made into like a bartender / server. I was working the bar area. I was horrible. I'm 100% sure I was horrible, right? So one time, I think my worst experience ever was a miscommunication. And what happened is that I had thought that my shift was done and I was closing up my tables. And it was a horrible night anyway because I was running behind, but I was closing up my tables and I was getting ready to go. And then the manager, she pulled me aside and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's my time to go. Like, I thought I was supposed to close the table. She's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And to my remembrance, I mean, I could be a little faulty, like it could be a little foggy, but I remember her like yelling at me, right? And I remember crying and like, I don't know what I said. I was probably like, you don't talk to me that way. Da, da, da. And I probably like ran out crying of the restaurant.
Are you
and that's
serious?
the day I quit.
You're such a drama queen.
Legit, that is probably the most embarrassing like story ever. It was mostly because it was my fault. Like, I'm the one that created that embarrassing situation. I did get EI. I mean, she was a little bit of a crazy manager, right?
Yeah.
She had a lot of difficulties with other people there. And the environment that I was working on wasn't the best environment. But nonetheless, that was my most embarrassing.
I almost got into a fight.
Where?
Legit.
Okay, in what setting? Where were you working?
So I can name the place, right? I can name the place.
I think so. I mean, I didn't name my restaurant. I don't know. I don't know if you want to name yours.
They can't. We're not that big. They can come after us.
Okay.
It was a uniform company.
Oh my gosh. So who did you almost get into a fight with?
Long story short, this kid, there was this one kid. I should name his name.
Look at it. I see you're like fisting.
I'm so angry. Till this day, it
What
still gets
happened?
it. He irks me so much. This guy, he had this problem, and I don't know what it was, but anyways, he would always make fun of me.
Okay.
And I have a tough skin. I can always brush it off. I'm like, whatever, whatever. It may hurt, whatever, and I might like be up all night and was like, why doesn't he like me? But I was like, at the end of the day, it's just words. But anyways, long story short, I was always seeking for his approval for some reason. I was very, what do you call it?
Insecure?
Insecure. Yeah, I was very insecure. And so we were in a cubicle. We're talking about UFC. And literally the day before, I was just watching a video. And like, if you ever get into a fight, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right? And so this UFC guy says, when you get into a fight, try and push the person back. Because then they lose balance. And then they have no balance to throw punches or kicks, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking, we were big UFC fanatics. Anyways, we're talking about it. And so he goes, yeah, if I was in the UFC, this is what I would do. And I go, funny enough, I was just watching a video. And I go, so you ever push back? And he goes, oh, that doesn't work. I'm like, it does work. Like, I'm thinking about it. Logically, it works.
Yeah.
You need your feet to throw a punch, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so you just push the person back and then you make them lose their balance. And then they're like, prove it. I'm like,
did you push him?
And so I'm like, how? Like, the only way to prove is for me to push him. He goes, yeah, try pushing me. And I'm like, okay. So I grabbed him by the shirt, and right as he was about to throw a punch,
Yeah.
and I legit thought that he was going to connect, I pushed him back. And so then he grabbed my shirt, and then we're just like pushing each other.
Oh my god.
But here's the funny thing is, the cubicle was like 10 by 10.
So it was a cubicle moving at this point?
It was just a cubicle. It looked like two pinball machines, right? Because he was bald, I was bald. So these two bald head men just bouncing off of all the walls. The walls of the cubicles were going crazy, crazy, crazy. The computer fell. Everybody started, they jumped out of their cubicle to watch what was going on. And we were pushing each other for like a good 1 to 2 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
It is because I'm like, did anybody else see you guys do this? or no?
Everybody left their cubicle to come see us push each other around, and we would not let go of each other.
Oh
so
my
we were
gosh.
just legit like bouncing off each other or bouncing off every wall.
How old were you at this point?
This was last year.
He's like, it was like 2 months ago.
No, this was.
This happened at church, didn't it? Just kidding.
Yeah, this happened.
One of your morning meetings.
This happened at church with one of my counselors.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. No, it didn't happen at church. It happened.
Oh my gosh.
I can just imagine me. No, it didn't happen at church. I did say workplace. So MTC Life has been around for 12 years. So it was, so 12 plus 3, it would have been about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I would have been in my early 30s when this happened. But I still remember that day, like, and I hated this guy, man. He was making fun of like my faith and just all general faith or whatever. And he was Spanish too. He was making fun of El Salvador. I'm like, dude, you're from El Salvador as well. And he's like, oh, I hate you all Salvadorians.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, dude, you're El Salvador. Like, he was like legit El Salvadorian as well. But it was like, it got chaotic. And he was much shorter than me.
Oh my gosh. That's so hard.
So I was like looking down, pushing him around. He was like looking up and pushing me around.
So how did you guys stop? Did you like end up? Like
No, the manager, the manager is like, hey, what's going on over there? And we're like, because we weren't stupid. We didn't want to get in trouble. And so we just legit just stopped. And then this other guy, he was like, he saw the whole thing from like almost the beginning to the end. And so he kind of like helped get the cubicle back in order. But,
oh my God.
But there was like, everything was on the floor, like a keyboard, computer, the whiteboard that we had there for goals, papers were just everywhere. It was legit. It was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It was horrible.
Would you say that's the most embarrassing thing that you've ever done?
I think that's the most angry that I've ever been, because it got to a point where it's just like, hey, let me show you what I learned yesterday. To like, I really wanted to fight you, right? Because the more he pushed, the more I pushed back. And then we just kept pushing back and forth. And so we only like trying to get more on top of each other.
Oh my gosh.
And
but nobody swung a punch.
None of us swung a punch.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. So for those who are logging in, you might want to go back like 5 minminutes and just hear the whole balance story.
Because it just happened literally last Sunday. Just kidding. Oh, hey, MJ.
MJ, what's up, brother?
Oh my gosh.
So you know that MJ's getting married soon, eh?
Oh my gosh, congrats.
October 8th, 9th?
Marriage is the best life.
November?
I love being married.
November, December.
He's like, say all the months.
It's before the end of the year.
Okay.
He asked me to officiate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've known MJ for a very long time. He's like a son to me, man.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, MJ.
Yeah. He can't work out for crap, but anyways, he's still I'm joking, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
MJ's a tough kid, man. There's people that would have quit long time ago, and because we went to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And MJ just kept going, and I'm like, and I started like doing more and just like pushing more, and he just kept going and going and going. Like, this kid is tough.
Wow.
So, well, what's have you ever gone in a fight?
Not a physical one.
You've never been in, you as a Latina, like the chola never come out, and you've never.
No, 100%. I've
That's
never been
such
in
a
a
lie.
fight. No, I've never been in a fight.
High school, nothing.
No, nothing. I like nothing. I haven't even like pushed someone. I mean, like a fight with Mike, but not like physical, right? But no. I'm like it's always been like an intense fighting with words. But I've never been.
Physical?
No, it's never been. Because I'm like, the thing is fighting with another like woman or a girl. I don't want my hair pulled. I don't want to pull someone's hair. Like,
for reals, you go to pulling hair. That's your go-to.
No, I don't know. Maybe it would be because I've never been to a fight. I don't know, and I don't want to get punched in the face. That's the thing. I'm like, that's why I wouldn't do. I like boxing as a workout, and I like that kind of stuff. But I don't
Yeah.
think I'd ever go into like a boxing ring because I don't want to get punched.
Yeah.
And in order to be a boxer, you have to be okay getting punched, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been in a couple of fights, not by choice, obviously.
Oh man.
I try and avoid them, but I grew up in Scarborough.
So mostly in your teen years or like 20s?
Yeah, like never since marriage or even since after my mission, never got into one fight except for that push. That wasn't even a fight. That was a pushing match.
You're like,
that was a pushing match.
oh man.
But like a legit fight with when punches are thrown, it was in high school. I grew up in Scarborough, so you had to like. My friends and I, we were like cool. We were dancers. We weren't like fighters. We got along with everybody, like from all the races, all the cultures, all the like whatever. So we never got into like whatever. But there were a couple of times where we had to stand up for ourselves and just yeah, we had to throw down or else we were good. Funny story. Ready? You guys want a funny story? So here's this. So
Okay.
I've never drank in my life.
Okay.
Never drank in my life, right?
Okay.
I've always stayed away from that. I've been a dancer and I've been an athlete. Never drank in my entire life.
Okay.
And so because of church, because of my coaches, and because of my coaches from like dancing and dancing and whatever, they've always told me, stay away from that stuff. It'll deteriorate your mind. I'm like, done. I was afraid of my dad, never did it. Anyways. So, but my friends, that's another story. So we went dancing. It was actually a job, and I was driving, and so one of my buddies was like, he was just done. He was gone, whatever. And he's like, oh, I feel like I have to throw up. And I'm like, you're not throwing up in my car. So I'm driving faster to look for it was like late at night too, really like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. So I'm just driving, running around looking for anything open, and I see a Tim Hortons. So I quickly do this U-turn. I go in there, pure Fast and the Furious style, pull on the emergency brake.
Just push him out.
I'm telling you. And then we all got out because we didn't want to see that. It was like, go to the bathroom, man. Just dump it in there. And so on his way to the bathroom inside the building, he starts throwing up.
Oh my gosh. Why didn't he throw up outside? It would have been so much better if he just ran to the side and threw up outside.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
I know, because I'm like, why is he going into the bathroom? Like,
I don't know. I don't. In all honesty, looking back, I don't even know why. We told him go to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
You're teenagers. Nothing makes sense.
Oh my gosh.
So he goes inside. On his way to the bathroom, he throws up all over the floor. Here's the funny story. Are you ready? And
Okay.
this has nothing to do with our podcast. But here's a funny story. When people throw up, you have to look.
No, you don't. That's so gross.
No.
Does the smell not gross you out?
Oh no, we stayed away. Oh, I wasn't going.
So you just like had to look from afar?
Dude,
Like, what do you mean?
Dude, I wasn't doing a taste test. Like I was
so
just, I'm like looking from a distance.
Like when my
right?
kids throw up, I'm like I can't even. Like, oh.
No. We look, but here's the funny thing. Here's what. Oh, if you're not ready for this,
Okay, tell me.
There is a full sliced tomato.
That he never chewed it, I guess. It just came out.
Right. No, legit, a full sliced tomato. And then we're looking at that and we all start laughing.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
how is that even possible, right? Because then when you think about it, right? If it's a burger or even if it's just a tomato slice, you take a bite and you chew.
How did he just manage to do one?
We think that he had a magical stomach.
Somehow it put its back.
Yeah,
together.
somehow it got put back together.
And came out whole.
But that was the story. I'm telling you, like at next day at school, that's the whole, not the next day, but like the like that was on the weekend. So on Monday, that was the talk. Everybody at school knew
Oh my gosh.
that Juan Carlos had a magical stomach. The full
He put
slice.
back things together.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So it was, anyways. It was gross. It was weird. But I don't know. Do you guys have any magical stories like that?
That's so disgusting.
So if you want to know the magical story that we're talking about, just go back about 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So today's topic, actually, you know what? Funny enough, today's topic involves everything that we've just been talking about.
Oh yeah, it totally does.
How?
Okay, when like my life sucks, now what, right? If you're throwing up at a Tim Hortons outside with a magical tomato, your life sucks at that very point.
Yeah,
Or
but
like-
he pulled his life together. Like and again, he was just a high school kid and just doing stupid stuff. But yeah, he's a productive member of society now.
You're like, I just want to say, you just want to, in case you see that, I just want to say that. Oh my gosh.
No, but yeah, like it is like, so for me, when I was in Cintas getting into this push fight, or that's this guy, whatever, sometimes things don't go our way.
I feel like that's life 100% of the time. Like, we think we know the path and we're like, okay, we're ready. Like, we got this. And then there's always detours. There's always things that happen.
What's the biggest letdown that you've ever had? And the Kleenex are right there. I'm not even joking. I pulled them out. Like, I know, knowing what we're going to be talking about today.
You're like, oh, let me be ready. The biggest letdown that I ever had.
Like what you just said, right? Like, sometimes we create these paths, we create this mind map, right? And we're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then this is gonna happen, and then all of a sudden, like, life says no, and then it just stops everything that you're doing.
Like, I guess I've had multiple, this is the thing, I've had multiple, like, life ups and down, and I think at that point in time when I'm going through them, I'm like, that has to be the biggest letdown. But as I'm looking and reflecting back in my life, I'm like, those moments actually propelled me to get to different points in my life that I don't think would have happened had they not happened. But if I was to pinpoint a specific letdown, was when I first had Raquel. We were living in London, and I decided that I wanted to take my master's in nursing. And so I started the application process. I started getting all this stuff ready. And then I didn't get in. My marks weren't high enough to get in. And so I feel like at that point I experienced, like, it was almost bitterness. I think that was a letdown moment. But I think at the same time that I only wanted to go to school because other people that I knew were going to school. Like, I'm like, what would I be doing with a master's right now? Nothing in my career path.
So you don't have your master's?
No, I don't have my master's.
So you didn't go back?
I didn't go back. I didn't get in, right? I'm like,
but you can go back. Like, you can fix your grades and then apply again?
I could if I wanted to go into a, like, I think even now, being the fact that I have more life experience and more experience under my resume, I could potentially try again. But then the thing is that I'm like, what would I do with a master's? Yeah. Nothing in my path right now includes a master's or the level of education. Like, I don't necessarily want to work in healthcare. I don't want to, like, build policies. There's certain things that I don't really are not aligned with my goals. So it wouldn't help me right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
The biggest letdowns? Oh, geez. Are we still live? I don't know if I want to open up that much.
Here you are asking me these questions, and now you're like, oh,
yeah, you can say deny. You can say pass. Next question.
What kind of show is that if I just say pass?
It would be.
You have to listen. You have to share the vulnerable stuff because then you're human, right? You can't just show the highlights. Look at me. I'm Miguel. I'm the founder of MTC Live. I'm so cool.
That's how I.
Kids look at me like.
Oh, don't.
This guy.
The reason why she's saying that. So we go to the same building, not the same congregation. For those who are watching, right?
Yeah.
So yes. So same building, different congregation. So we start at 9:00. They start at 11.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyways, so the two church bodies cross over at some point. Long story short.
I know. I'm like so many details.
No, I know.
Let me tell you about my announcements during that day.
It's
Come on,
I want them to know, like, what's going on.
Okay.
Anyways, so she's sitting down waiting for her church to start. I'm leaving now because I still got more meetings that I have to attend to. And then I see her just sitting there checking her phone during church, by the way.
Which has not started.
Instead of listening to God, right? So she's there, whatever. So I'm like, what do I do, right? I have to teach her a lesson. So
teach me a lesson.
I have to teach you. I feel it.
You are my elder, so I appreciate.
Okay, you relax. I'm not that much older than you. But I felt like I had to teach her a lesson. So what do? I went over and I gave her a light, wet willy.
Can we just talk about the fact that, I mean, he's in his 40s. I'm in my late 30s. Like, what was it the other day? He asked me, he's like, have you ever given a wedgie? What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, have you ever received a wedgie?
I was like, what? How old are we?
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's a legit question.
Anyway, so back to the story.
I got a wedgie once, and it was like anyways,
Don't detour. Don't detour.
There's a reason why I asked you if you ever got wedges, because it's in one of my presentations, and I talk about the atomic wedgie, the mother of all wedges that I've ever received. So it's actually part of a presentation that I have. Long story, kids love it. Long story short, right? So she's there. I give her this light wet willy. Now, before I give her the wet willy, there's this kid that saw me enter the room, and he saw me. He's like, he got all excited. I've done workshops with him before, and he's a good kid.
He's a great kid.
A good kid. And so he starts walking towards me, and so I see him. We make eye contact, like this kid and I, and so, but I still proceed to give the wet willy. So she's like, oh my goodness,
Because I'm in
On
my
your phone.
late 30s. I don't think I've ever had a wet willy in my life.
So I was your first.
Gosh.
Oh, that just made my day. Are you being serious?
I don't ever remember getting a wet willy ever in my life.
Mike.
Maybe I have. I'm not sure.
You are depriving your wife.
No,
man.
don't listen to him. Anyway, so this guy full out, he's in his 40s, may I add, comes into our place of worship.
So why were you on the phone if it was a place of worship? Exactly. Point exactly. I had to teach her a lesson. So the point of the story is, this kid saw me give her a wet willy. She goes, did you just give me a wet willy? I obviously denied it. I'm like, no. She goes, yes, you did. I'm like, no, I didn't. So she asked this kid, did he just give me the wet willy? And the kid looks at me, looks at her, and says, no.
I think you should have seen it. Like, he had like stars in his eyes when he saw Miguel. I'm like, what the? I go to church with you. Snap out of it.
Best feeling in the world.
Oh my gosh.
The kid just...
It got to Miguel's head, clearly.
It
so
did.
He's like...
It did. The kid took a bullet from me. Like, that is loyalty right there. That is loyalty right
Oh my
there.
gosh. Anyway, so share your... What was it? Share your most... what was the question? Your biggest disappointment.
The biggest disappointment?
Yeah.
And see, this is why I hesitate, because while they're happening, they feel like disappointments,
Yeah.
right? Because it wasn't what you expected to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you let God play his cards, they're the biggest blessings that you've
Yeah.
ever received, right?
I agree. 100%.
So
agree.
that's why I'm hesitant, because I don't want to make it look like I was disappointed. Like, we're talking about like our last child, right? We totally thought it was going to be a girl, right?
Did you guys find out beforehand or no?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
and
to.
okay. So did you think it was gonna be a girl before you found out, or you were told it was gonna be a girl?
What? English, Maria. English, Maria. Like, what is happening?
When you went for the ultrasound,
Yes,
did they tell you it was a boy or a girl?
they
then?
told us it was a boy.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I was half asleep half of those visits.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm being serious. I was like, because it's the 7th time. You've done them all and whatever. It's just like, ugh, whatever. But anyways, I was just looking for not the umbilical cord, right? Whether you see something there or not. So I was, we were hoping, and we were hoping for a girl. And so, but then we find out it was a boy before he was born. But like, this kid is like the sweetest kid ever. Like, he is just absolutely amazing. I love him to death, and I would not have had it any other way. So because we have so many boys, we would have been nice to finish off with another girl,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the thing. So while it's happening, it might feel like a disappointment,
Yeah.
but if you just let the cards fall, or you just let the fire burn out and the smoke clear, you'll realize that it was even the bad things, because you learn from those bad things. If you let them play out, right, you'll see how much of a blessing it really truly is.
Yeah. I think it's about having perspective.
Yeah, whatever that is. Absolutely.
Big word.
It is a big word.
So this is the thing that I've been learning recently, right? It's based on a book that I've been reading. Is like, so often so many of us focus on our current circumstances. So the fact that if our life is sucks right now, it's our immediate circumstance, regardless if it's a disappointment, regardless we've lost someone or we're going through a difficult trial, it's a circumstance. But the circumstance is not the whole truth. So sometimes you have to remind yourself of the other things that you have going on in life.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I had this experience this past weekend where it's just so easy to focus on kind of like the hard things that are going on. And on Saturday, so I went to an event on Saturday. I told you about it. It was a networking event, and 100% I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to be at home, and my immediate reaction to hard things is like, I want to curl up in a ball. I want to be home. I just want to watch Netflix. I don't want to think about it. I want to eat ice cream.
Now, before you go into detail, because there's something that's happening in your life that you didn't want to be there. It wasn't just you were just lazy or being whatever. It's
Yeah,
just, there's
exactly.
something happening, right?
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
you know what? We've gone through 2 years of challenges, and we're coming out of those 2 years of challenges. And I'm like, okay, like things are getting better. But in all honesty, I'm like, things were getting better, but I was getting, like, we had this conversation. I was getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So I was just kind of laxing a little bit. And I came to the realization that I tend to do, it's so hard to say this because obviously I don't like going through difficult situations, but I tend to be more faithful, more committed when I'm going through something difficult, right? So having said that, like, you know, last week it's just this new difficulty has come into our lives, and I was grateful for all the resources or the foundation that I have built in the last couple of years that didn't make this seem as overwhelming as what it would have been 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm still a human being. Like, I'm still experiencing all these like negative emotions. And Saturday came, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to go anywhere. Like, my kids were sick last week. We had this stuff going on. Like, I just want to curl up. But the whole thought process is like, no. I'm like, we're the networking event. We had we ended up getting these tickets that were premium tickets. So it actually meant that we got a whole lot more stuff included in the ticket. And I knew that my seat was going to be like really high up in front of the stage. So anyway, long story short, we went, and as I was there, I was telling Miguel this, but I'm like, I had this realization that I feel like it was God speaking to me. And it was like, yes, this particular situation, this particular trial is part of your life, but it is not your whole life. There's still joy and there's still growth.
Wow.
And I think at that point, it was like, I just even say that right now, I just feel so much peace because sometimes what we do is we are overwhelmed with what's going on that we leave everything that we love to the wayside, because now this big trial, this big difficulty that's come into our life, we're like so focused on it. But because we're so focused on it, it's growing and growing and growing, and potentially pushing everything else that you love to the wayside. And that could be your family, it could be your goals, it could be your growth, it could be joy, it could be laughing music, being in situations with your friends, like things like that, right? So it was pretty incredible, because once I had that realization, I was like, I can go through something hard and still experience joy and growth. I wrote in my book last week. What?
The one that you didn't start last week?
Listen.
No, I just wanted to confirm if it was that one. Is it that same one?
A different one.
Oh, a
Just kidding.
different one.
I started a new book. Just kidding. I did write in my book, but you know what? Miguel called me out, and I needed it, right?
She messaged me in the middle of the day, and
the
next day, she's like, "I hate you, but I appreciate what you did."
100%, because sometimes you need people to call you out on your crap.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you're so comfortable, and sometimes you need people outside of your immediate, like, kind of, because I love Mike, and you know he calls me out, like, 100%, but I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, you push back.
Because you love them. There's your spouse, and you're like, do you not love me?
Well, you're and I don't want to say you're complacent, but you're comfortable with him enough to, like, tell him that. It's the same thing with the kids. You tell your kids, don't do that. And like, mom, dad, you're stupid. You don't know anything. But then the neighbor says the exact same thing. It's like, oh man, this is wise wisdom. It's like, dude, I just told you that yesterday, right? So it's the same thing.
I told Mike, because Mike was like, at the event, I was like, okay, like I set up some goals and I like shared it with everybody. I became accountable, and he turns to me and he's like, what? He's like, you couldn't just like kind of be accountable to me in a joking manner, right? But I was like, because you love me, you give me free passes.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, because he loves me, he gives me free passes, and it's the same thing like me with him, right?
Because I don't. So I'm not giving you any. I'm not giving you any free passes.
This guy's ridiculous.
Forget that.
Anyway, so I'm like, so I did write in it, and I'm happy I did, because it created more normalcy, and it created that ability to actually like know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the event, and I was there, and I had this realization, and then it was pretty awesome, because yesterday when I was at church, I came back and I was doing Thanks. You're disrupting the flow of my conversation.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
I pulled away, dude.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, so yesterday as I was pondering, let me use big words, pondering.
Pondering.
No, so as I was kind of gathering my thoughts, I was like, You know, we always talk about, if you always kind of even read personal development, it's always about building faith in yourself. Like, choose faith over fear. Choose to have faith in yourself. Choose to have faith in others. Choose to have the hope and the faith that things will work out, right?
Yeah.
And then I've always been overwhelmed with this whole concept because I'm like, am I ever doing enough to build that faith? And then yesterday was so simple. It was just a simple thought that I was like, you know, when I choose faith over fear, it means that I'm letting go of my thoughts of anxiety, fear, whatever it is, and I'm choosing to focus on my kids and have fun with my kids. Or is choosing to do things that are building me, because I mean, whatever you're going through is still going to be there, but getting outside of that immediate circumstances and gaining perspective in the whole picture can really help you to thrive.
Interesting.
That's my
Interesting.
That's
So
what
yeah,
I'm saying anyway.
So again, we can't. She can. She's not going to let you guys know what she's going on, but it's something pretty big, right? So, and without going into detail of what it is, I'm blown away by.
Do not say anything, because if I'm gonna cry, I might cry with that. Just skip it over.
No, I'm not skipping it over.
Just skip it over.
I have to tell you, I'm blown away by how level-headed or how forward-thinking you. Just how you're taking in this information, and it's huge, it's big, right? And eventually we'll let our audience know, but how you're handling it,
I know. I came in and Miguel was like, you know, we don't have to do the podcast today, right?
Oh yeah, I totally told her. I'm the guy that's like, we're doing the podcast. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're on vacation. You're logging in. I'm like, let's do the podcast. So today, I'm like, based on what's happening, like, we don't have to do the podcast. And she goes, no, we're doing this, right? And so, anyways, they're characteristics of giants, right? And so I think. Anyways,
I'm gonna soak it all in and let it go to my head and be like, look at me.
You should, because I am never doing this again. So
I have to save it. I'll be like, we have it in recording, right? Like,
Oh,
let
yeah,
me play it back.
Yeah, we do.
Let me play it back to the day you called me a giant.
Do you remember that one time? I'm like, no, I don't remember.
Let me pull it up. On the day of June, on the day of
What is
20,
it?
I don't know, June 13th?
Yeah, it is.
I was like, I couldn't remember. I was like, June something. Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, it is. And so, like, anyways, it's and even we were talking to, I think this is the best way to get your message across, is but just living life correct. Mm-hmm. The Jason Palmer, you saw the message he wrote us, that he wrote.
After our podcast
last time, right?
Yeah.
Never. But here's the thing is, and I didn't put anything on the chat. So something that Maria said, and she's always been telling me this, right? Never fail twice.
And never miss twice.
Never miss twice, right? But what's the origin of that again? You said it last time.
Yeah, it was okay. So it's actually a mixture of two. Now I realized, because I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I don't think he actually said that. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habit.
Right.
Okay, so he shared the story about
Yes. Yes.
What's his name?
Yes.
Yes.
The guy.
Oh shoot, Seinfeld. Okay.
Seinfeld. Yeah.
But this is the interesting fact. It was actually okay. So it goes. Okay, whatever. As he shared the story about Jerry Seinfeld, where it was like someone who had asked him like about how he can improve his jokes. He was like, you have to write every day, and then you have to track it. And then, oh shoot, how is it? Like, track your train your track. What was like? Anyway, so that was one part of it. But then James Clear came up and he's like, I would like to add something else to it. And he was actually the one who said, never miss twice.
So you said never miss twice. Jason Palmer was listening, and then that pushed him to go to the gym, even for it was 10 minutes.
I know. I was so proud. Honestly.
Me too.
Okay, if you don't know, for those of you who don't know Jay Palmer, to get a compliment out of him is like pulling rocks out.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think I've ever.
No, he's never. And I don't know if you're listening to this right now.
Jason? I was like, Jason?
I was going to say James. Because you said James Clear. But Jason, yeah. So Jason, he's the best guy in the world. Good guy, good ally, whatever. But yeah, he's a jokester and whatever, right? But
he likes to play devil's advocate. So if you want
All
your
the
ruffles feathered, your ruffles feathered.
Wow.
your feathers ruffled.
Wow.
Your
wow. And you teach people.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
So and then this is the same guy called the Sasquatch. In the middle of my workshop, he starts like throwing things that go against to what. Anyways, long story short, he out of nowhere, nobody told him to do this. he messaged us
Yeah.
and saying, thank you so much. What an inspiration. This is what I did and all this other stuff. But here's the thing is, right? His actions of just be like, it's only 10 minutes, but I shouldn't miss twice. And so I'm just going to go, even if it's just for 10 minutes. The next day, I was between appointments. And normally what I like to do is I like to stretch. After a good workout, I like to hit the sauna and the steam room and do about an hour, right? So 30 minutes, and then do a cold plunge in between, right? And I like to stretch. I don't like stretching dry, like after a workout, whatever. And so I only had like 45 minutes, 50 minutes left because I took too long in a workshop, whatever. Long story. And I'm like, I only have 40 minutes. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, okay, do I go after my last workshop? That means I'm going to be going to the gym at 8. And this is at 5.
Okay.
And you have to understand that the gym is busy.
That's like prime time.
I hate it. Weights are everywhere. There's teenage kids around one machine, not even doing the workout, just talking about prom or, like, did you check out that girl? Like, it's so stupid. And anyways, but all I kept hearing was Jason's comment about not missing twice, and he only did 10 minutes. And because of what he did, I went to them and was like, you know what? I'm going to pump out 45. I'm going to skip out sauna day, and then I'll just do it another day. I'll recoup somewhere else. But that's the thing is, like, when things happen like that and we tell our story and we let people know, it inspires people unknowingly. So by the way that you're handling this situation, it will inspire others, right? And so something as simple as writing a comment or a post, Jason totally inspired. So Jason,
I know, big shout out, Jason. It was really, I was really like touched when I was like, what? Is this really Jason?
Yeah.
Like, did he really say that? I'm like, he's not. Like, I'm like, wait. It has to be. There has to be something at the end.
Yeah, there's a bot here. This is the bot. This is probably Michelle.
I mean, like, did you get hacked, Jason?
We should have Jason on the show.
Yeah, we should. He's an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
Highly committed. He's awesome.
Yeah, from rags to riches story.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, anything else before we let these beautiful people go?
No, I think just know it's okay for life to suck.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, it's just, I think as long as we know that there's going to be points in our life that life is going to suck, it's not going to come as a shock when it does.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, what? Where does this come from? And if you're asking yourself, why me? Ask yourself, why not me?
Yeah.
Right?
Saying that, so there was I think one of the greatest comments that I've heard was this guy saying, instead of asking why me, instead of asking God to take away this difficulty, ask God to be stronger to deal with this difficulty. And I'm paraphrasing here, right? But sometimes we ask for the wrong things.
Yeah.
We ask for things to be taken away.
Yeah.
And quick analogy, going to the gym, you get stronger by adding more weight. Mm-hmm. Right? And so instead of asking your partner to take off more weights because you can't lift it, it's get a spot, get some help, don't take off weight, add more weights, and just work with the weight that you have, and then you get stronger, and then eventually it's going to be nothing, and then you add more weight.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of asking for weight to be taken away, ask to become stronger.
Yeah.
Right? And the biggest lesson that I've learned from all of this is just let the cards play and fall how they fall. There's always a reason why things happen the way they happen.
100%. I'm like, in all my difficulty the last couple of years, and even with this, I cannot imagine my life any different.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, there's been so many blessings that have come out of this, and life is meant to be hard, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a part because we're meant to grow. And like you said, unless we have that additional weight, that additional stressor in our life, we're not going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let the cards play out, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Listen, love you so much. Again, just to go going.
Oh. Let me be.
No, I want to let you
be.
No, you can.
Let Maria be Maria.
You can do whatever you want. I'm just stating a fact. That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for. The chicken. I was waiting for the dance.
Do you remember the chicken dance? I don't remember.
I do. Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. Clap, clap, clap. I don't know why.
All right, people, get our shirts. Support us.
Absolutely. For every shirt that you buy, you definitely support us, and it helps out the show. We're able to do what we do, what we love, is bring you messages, continue this partnership, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Literally,
Take care.
love you tons. Bye.
Get a minute, don't know. Get a minute of your time. Get a minute of your.
I sure gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my side. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. God of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its sides. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye.